When over 7 million people fly into Tenerife every year, the majority of them head straight for the southern beaches and never look back. The entire east coast of the island is practically ignored. If you head just a few miles up the coast, you find the real timeline of the island. In this video, I'm exploring a UNESCO city that became the blueprint for Havana, the spiritual heart of the island, and a ghost town in the desert built for a disease that never arrived. I've been to Tenerife and the Canary Islands quite a lot. I probably at the minute have Tenerife quite low on my rankings if I was going to make a list. I decided that I probably needed to give it more of a chance. So this time I'm here, I'm going to explore more of the north of the island, the less touristy bit. And I'm starting here in a town called La Laguna. I don't even know this town existed, to be honest, and it's got this massive cathedral thing. I'm not going in it. I've seen enough cathedrals. Do you know how many cathedrals I've seen? Especially Spanish cathedrals. It's the ancient capital of the island, a UNESCO World Heritage site that feels like a proper living city. So this was the original capital of Tenerife before Santa Cruz. Right next to Santa Cruz, to be fair. I guess it became Santa Cruz later on because of the port. So most of the buildings here are still like traditional Canarian style, usually 1-2 floors. A pretty little town. It's literally right next to Tenerife Norte Airport. And to be honest, I just thought it was like an extension of Santa Cruz. I don't really recognise it as being a town in its own right. But there you go. The more you know. This city is actually a historical experiment. Back in the 15th century, European cities were generally medieval mazes, walled, cramped and chaotic. La Laguna was the first time in the Spanish Empire that the engineers threw away the rulebook. They didn't build a perfect checkerboard like New York, but they did something that was pretty radical for the time. They used a ruler. Wide, straight streets in a grid pattern. This layout was such a massive success that it became the exact blueprint the Spanish Empire used for their expansion across South America and the Caribbean. When you're walking the streets of La Laguna, you're walking the prototype for Havana, Lima and Cartagena. I very much just made myself at home on this bench because it's got like a backrest bit. It's like it's meant for me. And there's a guy playing the guitar and he's actually quite good. It's a lovely little town. I didn't know this existed. I came to Santa Cruz once, I think the very first time I came to Tenerife, and I don't know, I think we drove in and just saw the sort of industrial port bit of it and went, oh, this is horrible, and turned around and went back. Back then it wasn't quite as adventurous as I am now. Because it is still quite close to Santa Cruz though, it's still pretty busy and a lot of traffic noise coming through the town. There's a couple of pedestrianised streets that are a bit nicer. It kind of loses the quaint feeling. Right, can I cross this road without getting killed? This town's cool though, I like it. There's quite a lot here. I just looked for coffee shops and there's bloody loads of them. I don't know if I've planned enough time here, to be honest. I kind of thought, oh, I'll just hop and have a quick wander around this town because it's right next to the airport just after I landed, but there's so much here. Checking out the History Museum, mostly because it was free, but I ended up staying for the architecture. It's housed in an old merchant's mansion. It's a really cool building. God, these stairs are like at an angle. So I've heard of the island being referred to as the Duck, and I can kind of see it. This is beautiful. I'm actually most interested in the building rather than what's in it. That's normal for me. Come to a museum and I've got to decide like what's an appropriate amount of time to, so the staff don't think you've just ran through it and you're an uncultured idiot. Like, I'm interested in the history of the island. I just probably wouldn't come to a museum to read about it. I would just like Google it or watch a video. As far as museums go, this place is actually like it's really well presented. So I was going to go inside and have a look at this huge building, but an enormous tour group have just gone in. Right now, the trick is to try and get some shots of this where you can't see all these people, because it is beautiful. Oh, there's a bench in the sun. I'm going to sit in that. Oh, enjoy. Ah, lovely. Right, now we can look at the patio because I'm in the sun. Okay, that's better. The big massive tour group have gone. Part of life here. In this big cruise stop, a lot of the tourists are going to be in big groups. Some right fancy worker lived here. I could live in a house like this. It's very pretty, though. It just needs to be a public space now, so there's some sort of library as part of it. This has definitely got me off to a good start and changing my mind about Tenerife. A beautiful, beautiful town. There's so much to see as well, and it's quite compact, although there's loads going on. You could easily spend the day here, easily. Maybe more, maybe 2. I thought it would be like a 20-minute. Oh yeah, nice building, nice church, nice square. There's so much to this little town. It's so lively as well, look. I can't believe how lively this place is.
Just a 15-minute drive down the hill from Laguna is Santa Cruz, the modern capital of the island. It's a proper working city of over 200,000 people. There's so much history, architecture and brilliant public space packed into this city that it needed its own dedicated video, so I'll leave a link to that right here. But for this video, we're going to push straight through the capital and head further south down the east coast.
This is the spiritual heart of the island. Inside the basilica here is the patron saint of the entire Canary Islands, which draws thousands of visitors every year. The most interesting part of this square is the irony of what's standing right outside the basilica. These 9 bronze giants represent the Mensañes, the indigenous Guanche Kings who ruled Tenerife before the Spanish arrived. The Spanish conquered the island, wiped out the native political system, and built this Catholic basilica as a symbol of their victory. Yet today, it's the very kings they defeated who stand permanent guard on the waterfront, staring right back at the church. Beyond the plaza, the town itself is absolutely worth your time. It's a traditional fishing village that's kept its local charm. And it's a great place to wander around the streets, grab a coffee, and explore the black sand beaches on the edge of town. The strangest stop on the east coast is Abades. I'm going to go and see something quite unusual now, not something I expected to be visiting in Tenerife. It's... well, you'll see. So this pretty eerie looking place was never actually used for its intended purpose. It was built in the 40s, but the project was never completed. It's definitely an interesting place, isn't it? In 1943, leprosy was a major problem on the island. The Franco dictatorship ordered this massive complex to be built as a quarantine hospital and living complex for the sick. There was an episode of Doctor Who filmed here. Not a Doctor Who fan, but that might be interesting to somebody. Like some of these buildings were mostly complete, really. There's some beautiful graffiti here. And then there's some like terrifying graffiti. It's quite cool actually. It's very site specific. With a bit of light coming down. It's clever. This is really quite cool. I didn't expect this. Didn't expect to be wandering around an abandoned leper colony. This building's huge. I love when you hear bits of the building crumbling down around you. As long as I don't see any rats. It was just a pigeon. It was just a pigeon. I'm not going to translate the written graffiti because most of it's not that nice. Not particularly friendly messages. Let's just say they're not saying life is great. It's obviously one of the newer buildings because it's much less complete than the others. Just remembering the point they abandoned it, but I mean they did quite a lot of work. There's quite a lot of these bungalows. They're beautiful. Quite green. Quite rocky. The sky is looking pretty moody today. Let's go see one of the bungalows. They all look uniform, they look identical. Yeah, so they all seem to be little individual rooms, bedrooms I guess. I'm looking at it like, look at this awful thing they tried to do, but they didn't know how to treat them, right? And obviously they didn't want it to spread. So they've built, or the intention at least was to build proper housing and facilities for their care, and I'm guessing that sounds it. As it would have been had they not advanced medicine in their treatment of it. An awful place to be. And that is a pretty substantial cross on that church. Now this has got to be one of the more unusual places in Tenerife, for sure. I swear every time one of those birds moves I shit myself. From here you can see the more modern leper colony, the holiday resort. There's a nice beach out there, so I guess they would have had access to that, I presume, if they'd ever lived here. Not too bad, really. Yeah, a properly grand church. So that was cool, unexpected. I mean, it's nice that it doesn't have some horrible history. I guess it's just interesting that since the 40s, 80 odd years it's sat here like this and no one decided to do anything with the structures, or like, it's interesting they didn't just finish it and turn it into a hospital, or I don't know, a retirement village or something, or some sort of medical purpose, because that's what they were designing it for long-term care. I better not stay around too long. Might turn it into a sanatorium. Keep me here.
It's a bizarre place, and right behind it is a modern holiday village and a really nice beach. It's crazy to think that so many people visit Tenerife and never see any of this. By stepping away from the southern resorts, I've walked the blueprint for the New World, stood face to face with the indigenous kings of the island, and explored a post-apocalyptic ghost town in the desert. The East Coast isn't just a road to your hotel, it's a museum of bizarre, beautiful and tragic history, hiding right off the motorway. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. It really helps. Cheers, see you soon.